Good afternoon, and welcome back to my channel where I will be doing a Liverpool versus Newcastle United Premier League preview. International break is over. I've said that so many times, but it's so good to have league football back, and the Reds are back in action. So obviously 4 wins out of 4 in August, top of the league. 2 points clear of Manchester City. That'll be 5 tomorrow if we win. Against Newcastle. So lots of good signs. Watched Jurgen Klopp's news conference, and he is saying that Naby Keita could well be back after the game against Napoli. So does that mean that Keita could well be back for Chelsea? That will be very interesting to see what will happen. The other thing I want to say is that he was asked a question about Alisson. He doesn't know about his time period, but you would assume that he will probably be back very soon. It's only probably a case of sort of easing him back. I wouldn't bring Naby Keita straight away back either, if I'm being honest with you. But let's have a wee look at these games. This game basically between Liverpool and Newcastle, and we all know about Liverpool. We all know about Liverpool and Newcastle. Obviously the 4-3s from 1996, 1997, and then obviously in 97, 98 as well, the 4-3 as well. So yeah, it has to be said that Liverpool and Newcastle have been involved in some thrillers, especially last year at St James's Park. Obviously Liverpool winning by 3-2, which was an absolute cracking game of football as well. Obviously that was under Rafa Benitez as well. Newcastle United though have not beaten Liverpool at Anfield for 25 years. So it's been a very long time since they have won at Anfield against Liverpool. And also that their record against Liverpool is pretty poor, to be fair. They've only won 10 out of 46 meetings as well. So it's not a team that they seem to like playing. But they're always up against. Always seem to be up against it when they play Liverpool. But having said that, though, you have to say that they have been. Obviously, there's been a lot of change in Newcastle. Obviously, with the manager, etc. as well. Obviously, Steve Bruce coming in, Rafa Benitez obviously going out. They've lost Jose Perez as well. And obviously they've brought in Joe Linton as well, who has obviously scored. He scored at Tottenham as well. So, but as far as obviously Newcastle are as follows. Obviously their start to the season has been pretty mixed. Obviously losing 1-0 to Arsenal on the first day of the season, then going to Norwich and losing 3-1, but then going to Tottenham and winning 1-0, especially how many people saw that coming? Whoever knows, but they played very well at Tottenham and defended very well as well. So this is something they're going to have to do as well. And then against Watford, 1-1 draw against Watford. So this is a thing with Newcastle is consistency, I think. Obviously, the Mike Ashley is still at the club, and obviously Newcastle fans are still unhappy at the fact that obviously Rafa Benitez is away. I'm not so sure Newcastle fans are too happy with Steve Bruce as manager, but then again I can see the sentimental feeling that obviously it's his boyhood club, but then again he did manage Sunderland for a couple of years, so you can understand why there are some Newcastle fans that are not happy. I've got a few Newcastle fans and friends, and I can tell you that they're not too happy either. But obviously key battles in this one. Obviously Joe Linton as well, and obviously Almiron, who hasn't scored yet, but has really impressed me for Newcastle. He has been very good as well. and I think it's only a matter of time before goals start to come for him. I think he will probably. He is getting to grips with the Premier League. Obviously, he came last year from Atalanta United, and hasn't looked out of place. You know, he's been very, very good for Newcastle. So let's sort of drive in and go into obviously the match preview. Dangermen for Newcastle, definitely Joe Linton. He is a handful. He is a real handful, and obviously scored at Tottenham. Looked really, really good that day as well. Suppose Almiron, you know, he's very, very quick. He's very, very pacey, and he's very, very skillful as well. So he'll be a handful for Liverpool as well. No Longstaff though. That's a big blow for Newcastle. Sean Longstaff is out of this game for Newcastle against Liverpool. So that'll be very, very. That's a blow for them because he's a decent player. He's a decent player. John Joe Shelvey, obviously, he's going back to Anfield. He scored an absolute cracker for Swansea City at Anfield a couple of years ago, I think it was now. And obviously Liverpool fans gave him a round of applause as well. So a player that had a bit of an indifferent spell at Liverpool, but, you know, still a good player and still a dangerman for me, especially. Fabian Schär, obviously, you know, he's a danger going up for set pieces. Lascelles as well. Yeah, there's definitely a few Liverpool ex-players in there. Obviously, Manquillo as well. He'll be going back. He had a disastrous spell at Liverpool, it has to be said. So you know they've got a really good squad actually. Newcastle. It's just a pity that obviously with Perez going, they've kind of lost that little bit of firepower. Obviously, Andy Carroll is back at Newcastle as well, but he will not quite be ready for this game as well. So it'll be very, very interesting to see how Newcastle line up. So yeah, and obviously, like we say, Newcastle, they are one of the favourites to go down this season, which is really interesting. But I mean, they were one of my picks to go down, not because of the fact that the squad's not good enough, and not because of the fact that I think they might struggle. It's just because obviously new manager coming in, he'll have different plans as well for for the players. So you have to say that Steve Bruce, he's getting to grips with this Newcastle team. He's actually got a pretty, I wouldn't say decent record, but he has got a couple of draws at Anfield before as well. So it'll be very, very interesting to see how he does. And I do believe that those draws were with Sunderland as well, and I think they were both 2-2 if I remember rightly. So going into this game, Liverpool, how do I think we'll line up? Well, I think there will be a few changes. And it's not because I think that rotation needs to happen. I do think because of the game against Napoli on Tuesday, and also the Chelsea game on Sunday, I think there will be rotation. So I reckon that this would be my lineup to face Newcastle. So my starting 11 is as follows. So obviously Alisson is still out, so we can obviously assume he will not make it. So Adrian will definitely be in goal, and then obviously Kelleher will definitely be on the bench. Andy Lonergan might play against MK Dons, who knows. I would like to see Kelleher though. I would like to see Kelleher. He seems a good, decent young goalkeeper to bring in off the bench. So I'd like to see Kelleher against MK Dons, but for this game, I'm going to go for Adrian in goal. Then it's a question mark. Does Joe Gomez come in for Trent Alexander-Arnold, or will Trent Alexander-Arnold keep his place? In my opinion, I think Trent Alexander-Arnold will keep his place, considering that he did play 90 minutes for England against Kosovo the other day. So he'll be fresh. He'll definitely be fresh. So Adrian, Trent Alexander-Arnold, Joe Matip, who obviously has been excellent this season so far. 2 goals in 5 games so far this season. Very, very good from him. And then obviously it's Virgil van Dijk. I can't see Dejan Lovren being picked over Van Dijk, so it's definitely Van Dijk and Matip. And then at left back it has to be Andrew Robertson. Didn't have the best of games for Scotland, it has to be said, against Russia and Belgium. But having said that, his Liverpool form will carry on. I think he will have a better game as well. Now the midfield three. Now this is where it gets very, very interesting. I do think that there will be a change in midfield, but where it is, I don't know. So I think Fabinho will keep his place because I do believe that he didn't play for Brazil in international break, which staggers me. Really, really does, considering that for me he is probably now that position now for Brazil. He's made that position his own at Liverpool. And if you do remember, actually, the last game between the sides, the Liverpool Newcastle was 4-0, and Fabinho opened the scoring that day. So for me, I think Fabinho keeps his place. Then there's a question mark. Does Wijnaldum get a rest? He had a very, very good international break, scoring 2 goals in the games against Germany and Estonia as well. So does he keep his place, or does James Milner come in? That's another question. For me, though, I just think, obviously, with Napoli coming up, I do think there will be a couple of changes in the midfield. So I do think Fabinho will keep his place, but I think James Milner will come in for Gini Wijnaldum, and I do think that Gini Wijnaldum will get a break. Then does Captain Jordan Henderson play? Now, for me, I would rest him for this game. I know that obviously he's ex-Sunderland, he loves playing against Newcastle, but for me, I would probably put him on the bench, rest him, get him ready for Napoli, and then obviously get him ready for Chelsea. So for me, Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain comes in for me. A very, very good sub to have. Obviously, a very, very good player to have to come on as well. So he looks like he could probably start for me as well. So for me, the midfield three will be Fabinho, Milner, and Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain. Front three. Now this is interesting because Mohamed Salah and Sadio Mane will both be fresh because they did not go on international duty with Egypt and Senegal respectively. So both of them will be fresh. So I expect Mane and Salah to start. So Mane obviously the left, Salah the right. Then it's a question mark. Does Firmino keep his place? I know he scored against Burnley, but like I said, it's that game against Napoli. It's the rotation for me against Napoli that gets Origi to start this game for me. So I think that Firmino will get a rest. I do think that Origi will come in. So that will be my team. So I will just go for my team very, very quickly. So the team I would play is Adrian, Trent Alexander-Arnold, Matip, Van Dijk, Robertson, Fabinho, Milner, Oxlade-Chamberlain, and then Mane, Origi, and Salah. So that would be my team. And then obviously on the bench you would have Kelleher, you would probably have Lovren, probably Gomez, Lallana, Shaqiri, Firmino, and then Henderson probably. So yeah, I would that would be the team I would play. Let me know your starting 11 in the comment section below as well. So there we go. How do I expect Newcastle to start? Well, you know, they've been playing a sort of a back five usually. Seems to be very effective as well. So that's something we've got to watch out. I do feel though that in this in this game, if Liverpool get an early goal, then I do see the floodgates opening. But if Newcastle are resolute, if they are very good at the back like they were against Spurs, then they will grow more into the game and get more confident about grabbing a goal or even a point against Liverpool. So have to be wary about Newcastle. Have to be definitely wary for this game. But like I said, if the floodgates, if we do get an early goal, then I do expect the floodgates to open. But and then obviously, you know, playing first always has an advantage as well, because obviously Manchester City do not play Norwich until 5:30 tomorrow, so that'll be interesting as well. So, what is my score prediction going to be? Like I said, if we do get an early goal, then I do see Newcastle tiring, and I do see Liverpool being far too much for Newcastle. So for me, I'm going to go for a 3-0 win to Liverpool, and goal scorers. Wow, I can never pick goal scorers right. So I'll say Salah to get one, Mane, and I'll go for Van Dijk, who will probably be captain for the day. So that is it. That is my match. That is my match preview. That is my match prediction and my starting 11. Let me know what your starting 11 is in the comment section below, and give me your score prediction for Liverpool against Newcastle as well. I'm looking forward to that game. Should be a good one, and yes, it's finally good to see the Reds back in action again after the international break, which bored me to death, I have to say. But it's good for the Reds to be back in action, and yes, so Premier League is back, and I'll look forward to this. This game is live on BT Sport as well tomorrow. I think coverage starts about 12 o'clock, and if kickoff is 12:30. So if you're watching it, enjoy the game. So come on, you Reds. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll speak to you very, very soon. Take care, everyone. Bye bye.